This is my beloved Athlon SD40-2. Painted in Conrail colors, this model is a faithful miniature recreation of the real-world machine. It looks great, runs great, and if it's done right, a photo of this model could look just as real as the real deal. But we're not here to talk about realism and prototypes, so here's a Conrail painted USRA 462. Why? This is a real production model made by Mahano in Yugoslavia and imported to the US under the Associated Hobby Manufacturers name, or AHM. I cannot pinpoint when this exact model was produced, but it can be assumed it was produced sometime after 1976, after Conrail's formation. The tooling itself dates back to 1973 under the lifelike name, so the tooling is actually older than Conrail itself. Everything about this locomotive is very of its time. The handrails are molded on with almost no depth. The big motor going through the back of the cab with no attempt to even hide it. And look at these chunky rods. It's a very simple model, and the main reason I can assume it was painted this way was Mahano, really being headquartered in Yugoslavia, really didn't know any better. It has zero bearing on any real locomotive, with the real Conrail 3180 being a GP40-2. I see a lot of things wrong with this model, but despite all of that, I really can't hate it. In fact, it might be just one of my favorite locomotives in my entire collection. So what's better than one Conrail steam locomotive? Well, how about a second Conrail steam locomotive? This model was once again made by Mahano and once again imported by AHM. This particular locomotive is a Pennsylvania Railroad A3 Class 040 switcher locomotive and shares much of its livery design with the previous 462. The only real differences are the red cab roof and the gold backup light. This locomotive was first offered in Conrail colors in 1977, according to an old advertisement for AHM's new 040. This tooling itself dates back to 1972 under the lifelike name once again, making this tooling also older than Conrail itself. One of this model's strangest features is the Penn Central style lettering. It shares a lot of similar quirks with the 462, although this time we do at least have proper handrails. 1462 is not a number worn by any Conrail locomotive, so I guess they learned their lesson from the 462. Both of these locomotives are relatively easy to find, with the 462 almost always being available on eBay for somewhere between $50 to $100, depending on its condition. The A3 comes up here and there and is a much more budget-conscious option, running between $25 to $50 usually. There's one more production Conrail steam locomotive in HO, but it's incredibly rare, and whenever it comes up, it always goes for more than I paid for both my Conrail steam locomotives combined, which makes me very depressed because it is easily the most beautiful of the three models. I guess at least with my two, I can make this stupid meme of, don't talk to me or my son ever again. Hey, wait a minute. So one of these suckers came up for sale in February, and you can bet your ass I jumped on it instantly. I am not going to admit how much I paid for this guy, because that SD40 at the start of this video cost me less. This particular model was first produced in 1981, and judging by its rarity, it may have been for 1981 only. The tooling dates back to 1978, making this tooling actually the youngest of the three. It's a locomotive that was produced up until fairly recently, with the last release being under the Model Power name in the mid-2010s, and being fully loco self-sufficient. Unlike Mahano, Mantua is an American company, so I have no idea why they produced this. They would know what Conrail is. I guess just because it's funny. My particular one has seen better days, but it's still in pretty serviceable condition, and I'm just happy to say I've completed the greatest trinity behind maybe the Top Gear and Grand Tour trio. Between the three of these locomotives, the 462 easily stands out as my favorite, although all three are like my children and I must protect them at all costs. Regardless of what you think about them, we can all agree that these silly little completely wrong models are great fun, and we will never have anything quite like them again. Oh, fuck you, Lionel! Hey, so thanks for watching my dumbass ramble on about shitty old model trains. This is my first ever video project, so let me know if you'd like to see more of this style of video in the future. I've got a few more model projects planned and a video about the preserved GP30 at the Lebanon Mason Monroe Railroad. If you really like Conrail and GP30 memes, or really just hate yourself, follow my Twitter at Cobra Merciless to die a painful death. And if you'd like to support me financially, I have a Redbubble page at Casual Gearhead, complete with Conrail steam locomotive stickers. Once again, just thanks so much for your time. MTE, signing out.